Boom, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Welcome to the Surrounded by Details podcast with me, Stevo. I am your host and I hope you are having a wonderful Monday. It is Monday the 18th of September, 10 p.m. in Biggity Bangkok. I love to say that. It's so smooth from the tongue. Biggity Bangkok. There you go. One more time. And we have a very special reason to record that late. And that is, we have a very special guest on the podcast tonight. The one and only Eric Bandholz, CEO and founder and beard guru and so many more things from Beardbrand. He is all the way on the other side of the internet, of the World Wide Web in Texas, Austin. So because of the time delay, we are recording later today. But we don't mind, and I hope you don't mind either. However, before we start, as always, a big shout out to the one and only Dreamcatcher Hostel Bar and Cafe, Cafe and Bar and Hostel. Switch it up how you want. We are flexible here. They are supporting us each and every episode. So a big shout out to them. If you want to stay in Bangkok, if you are visiting the city of angels, the Venice of East, please make sure to stay there. And even if you don't need a bed, make sure to go there because there's loads of awesome people to have a lovely conversation with. With that being said, we are slowly picking up pace again here on the Surrounded by Details podcast. It has been a little bit quiet because I have been all over the place here in Asia. I've been in Macau, I've been in Kuala Lumpur, in Shanghai. Now I'm back in Bangkok. Next week I'm heading down south to visit the beautiful island of Koh Samui for another podcast recording. And if you want to keep up with all our dates, please make sure to go to my social media or check out the live stream, upcoming live stream thread here on YouTube, where I will start to list my scheduled recordings a little bit more. So, I have a beard. The people who know me know that I have a beard. Every morning I look in the mirror and I see a big ball of hair in my face. And I wonder what to do with it. I'm not shaving it off because that makes me look very, very skinny. And I don't want to look skinny. So I want to keep my beard, but I need to do something more with it. So I started Googling on the World Wide Web how to style your beard a little bit. And I typed in several keywords on the Google search machine and came up to only one result. Beardbrand is what I found all the time. Let's talk about beard products. Let's talk about YouTube videos about how you want to style your beard. Let's talk about beard in general and the urban style of the modern beardsman. So coming to Beardbrand, I got connected to Eric Bandholz, who is the founder and beard guru, as I like to call him, because that is really what he is. He loves beard, his life is beard, and I really enjoyed his YouTube videos. So I started watching them, how to trim my beard correctly, what style is the correct style for my face. Let's be honest, for my face, there is not really a style. My face itself is a style. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just joking. Hashtag German humor. But I decided to type him a message because for me it's a little bit strange how people get into beards and how they make a business and a living out of that and where that passion comes from. As a photographer here in Southeast Asia, I meet a lot of different clients and I meet a lot of different people, mostly within the mixed martial arts scene, but there's a lot of people that have beards. But surprisingly, well, I guess not really surprisingly, there is not really anything beard-related, beard products related around here in Asia. So I typed Eric a message and asked him if he would love to come on the podcast or would like to come on the podcast and tell me a little bit more about his passion, about his brand, Beardbrand, which he started in February 2012. If I'm mistaken, we're going to talk about that in a little while. However, I thought it is time to bring a little bit more knowledge to Asia. As we all know, hashtag no racist, but Asians don't really grow a beard unless they turn 60, 65, 70. Then out of the sudden they grow a massive wise beard, and it's really hard to find a place that cuts your hair and your beard. In Bangkok, there has been a few more places lately that open up. I mean, we have True Hill barber around here. It's very expensive, so I like to actually take care of my beard by myself. So as I said, I watched all those videos and teach myself a little bit. And to be honest, as we speak here, I'm actually combing my beard. I don't know if you can hear it, because I learned that is the most important thing that you need to do. However, something else that you need to do is to participate in this podcast episode. We have a live chat available, so shoot us your question, whatever you want to do. If you have any questions regarding your beard, please type it in the chat section. You can also participate on Facebook, where I shared the live stream, on Twitter as well. But I have to be honest, I'm not really a Twitter user. Maybe that's just me, but who knows? However, Eric is typing me here on Skype. He is ready, so let's get to the Skype machine in form of my phone. Thank you, dear technology, for making it so easy to connect with people nowadays. And I'm just gonna give Eric a call, see what he is up to over there in Austin, Texas. And we should call free on Skype. We hear the signal. There you go.
Good morning, this is Eric.
Good morning, Eric. This is Stevo. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Test 1 2, test 1 2. Eric, can you hear me? Well, that didn't go so well. Let's try that one more time. I'm gonna replug my phone here. I don't know what's wrong. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky. I was just praising the technology. Let's try this one more time. I'm gonna type a message here before I do anything else. Try again. And we try it one more time.
Steve, this is Eric.
Yes, do you hear me?
I do hear you.
Yes. How are you, Eric?
I'm doing well, man. Happy Monday to you.
Happy what?
Monday.
Monday, yeah. Happy Monday. That is a opening to a podcast that every host wishes for. You a Monday person?
Yeah, of course, man. Every day I wake up is a good day.
Yeah, you typed to me that you start your day at 10 a.m. in the morning with checking your emails. Is that something that you do regularly, like point on 10 o'clock in the morning, or are you more flexible?
No, 10 o'clock is my company. We have what we call a daily huddle, where we get the whole team together and we kind of talk about what our duties are for the day and if we accomplish them or not. So it's a company-wide meeting. We have it at 10 o'clock every day.
Interesting. Yeah, here in Bangkok, it's almost nighttime. It's almost Tuesday, 2 hours to go. So I really appreciate the fact that we could make this podcast happen despite the time zone difference. How is Austin in general? Is the sun shining? Is it getting cold? How is the place, Austin?
Yeah, Austin is a lovely place. It's still in the 90s, so still pretty warm out. And yeah, man, I'm ready for the fall. I don't think we ever get winter here, though.
Do you need a special beard style for the fall? Are you switching from summer style to fall style, or do you just let it go as it is?
Yeah, I just kind of, I've had a lot of different beard styles over the years, so just whatever is striking me in the moment.
I mentioned it here in my intro real quickly. You are the founder and CEO of Beardbrand, something I came across when I was Googling how to take proper care of my beard. And it's fascinating to me how somebody is so passionate about facial hair. Can you tell me a little bit about the start of all this? Let's start with, where is your passion for beards coming from?
Yeah, I would say it's not so much a passion for beards, but it's a passion for being yourself. And Well, I used to be a financial advisor at a large corporation,
Mm.
and they wanted the all-American look. So shaved face, side part of the hair, wearing a suit and tie to work, and that was never me. So I always felt like I'm kind of conforming to what society wanted me to be rather than me being who I wanted to be. And I quit working there, decided to grow my beard out. And during that journey of growing my beard out, I really felt connected to the facial hair, and I felt connected to my beard. And I felt like I was finally a person who I was. But once again, society thought that a guy with a beard was Grizzly Adams or ZZ Top or like a biker or an outdoorsman. All these guys who are cool guys, but again, they weren't me. So it was after attending an event where I met other people similar to me who had bigger beards but were more urban in nature that coined the term urban beardsmen to describe us, describe who I was, and strive to unite the community of urban beardsmen with Beardbrand and really provide the tools and inspiration that they needed to feel confident about really being who they wanted to be. And a lot of that means facial hair or beards from there. So that was the start of the company way back in 2012.
Yeah, you headed to Portland for the West Coast Beard Masters Championship, as I can read on your website. But I have to ask you, because I've been literally bench watching your videos on YouTube, and you did some Q&A back in the days. I don't know if you do them any longer, but you received the questions: is it hard to have a beard when you apply for a job? Because I have very obvious tattoos. Could you compare those tattoos, or doesn't it matter?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really it depends on where you live and the environment you're in. For instance, here in Austin, Texas, it's a lot more laid back, a lot more liberal when it comes to your style. So I think, having a beard or having tattoos in Austin wouldn't hinder you. But if you go to maybe somewhere a little more conservative, like Salt Lake City, Utah, or maybe like a historically banking town like Chicago or Charlotte, it's going to be a little more frowned upon to wear facial hair. So it kind of depends on where you are. And I guess like if you're in the Middle East, probably the opposite is true, where you almost feel pressure to grow a beard than not have one. So kind of all depends on where you live.
Yeah, here in Southeast Asia, it's something special still. I mentioned it before here. The Asians don't really grow a beard until they are kind of 50, 60, enter a older age where they just out of the sudden grow a massive wise beard that makes them look like they have been living for hundreds of years, and they look really wise. So often I come across people here who point at my beard even if I don't have a conversation with them. I just see it on the side of my ear. Is that something that happens to you over there? I mean, you have quite a long beard and a styled beard, and do you come across that often, that people want to touch your beard?
Touch my beard? Yeah, I would say I've had questions for that in the past. I will get compliments and of course comments on my beard. I tend to have like a little bit bigger mustache than the majority of guys out there with beards. So what's funny is I actually get more comments when my beard is short than when my beard is long. So
why do you think is that?
Well, I think it's because I keep my mustache long, even when my beard is short. So it's a very imposing look to have a big mustache and a shorter beard. And I think not a look that a lot of guys choose to wear.
What about your touch beard, touch boob rule? That made me smile when I saw that on YouTube. Can you explain to the audience what exactly is up with that? Yeah,
I mean... I kind of say it jokingly, not entirely seriously, but the beard is actually because it comes on through puberty, it is like a sexual organ, so to say, or a sexual trait to men, and for a person to go and to touch a beard without asking would be equivalent to like a guy going up to a girl and grabbing her chest or grabbing her behind without asking. So it's one of those things that's inherently personal to the person, and you shouldn't just go around, grabbing people's beards, just like you shouldn't go around grabbing people's, rear ends and chest. So that's more of the point. It's not so much that if someone grabs your beard, then you can inherently go and grab their.
Yeah, I thought that was a very funny comparison there. And maybe, who knows, maybe I start doing that, because then I will be a very happy guy, because a lot of people want to touch my beard here in Asia. Even though it's not as glorious as your beard or your mustard, I'm still work in progress. But talking about work and progress and passion and something that you do for yourself, how did you came up with the idea of actually making a living out of this and the business out of this? Because it takes, of course, balls to go into the self-employment department. What did your stomach tell you when you did make this decision to leave your proper job and then enter into this? Because it's something that I can imagine is not understood by everybody around you.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself an entrepreneur at heart, and I've had several failed projects that I worked on in the past. And actually, at the time that Beardbrand started, like I said, I quit my job as a financial advisor, but I quit it to start up a different business at the time, which was essentially like a freelance graphic designer. And so I was doing that work to make a little bit of money, to put food on the table while I was trying to get Beardbrand ramped up. But, I've never struggled with having vision for businesses and execution of or I should say, for building a roadmap and a plan for having a successful business. But the execution has always been a challenge for me. And the one thing that was different with Beardbrand versus my other projects was that I have two great business partners who really helped me stay focused and helped me on those really challenging days, and helped execute on that vision as well. So I'm very fortunate to not be in this alone.
Yeah, your business partners are Lindsay and Jeremy, if I'm not mistaken. How did you find them?
Yep. Yeah, so it's kind of a position of putting yourself in the right place and being able to foster and develop relationships. But I met Lindsay at a networking event for young professionals, and we kind of hit it off. We told a couple of really bad dad jokes, and had a similar sense of humor. And then Jeremy was actually another networking event, a different one, that we just kind of serendipitously ran into each other. He was actually there's two networking events going on at the location we're at. Our networking event, my networking event, and then one that he was going to go to. So he thought he was hanging out with us at our event when, or at the event he was trying to go to when in fact it was our event, and then just kind of stuck around because he liked what we were about and liked our vision. And then we built that friendship. And once we had that kind of business friendship, we took it a step further, kind of day by day.
How surprised were you that you actually teamed up with women? Because women are not particularly known for wearing a beard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's business is more than just your ability to grow a beard. If that was the case, then there'd be a bunch of successful business people out there with beards. But yeah, I didn't give it a second thought. Lindsay is a very talented business professional and very driven, and she knows a lot about the grooming industry, and she knows a lot about interacting with people, negotiating, and all the things that are requirement. Because Beardbrand is more than just beard care. We have hair care, we have body care, and that was always the vision of supporting men beyond the beard and uniting a community of people where the beard is just part of it. It's kind of that catalyst.
Hmm. Well, ever since you started your Beardbrand here and also your YouTube channel, you have been doing so many videos. How was it for you to actually explore the world of beards, and how many men actually need help with their beards? Because I never thought of it. I travel quite a lot, and it just recently hit me a few weeks back that I need to do something, because I am here in Bangkok or in Southeast Asia in general. It's very hot, very humid outside, and then you go into a 7-Eleven or anywhere else, and out of the sudden you feel like you are in the Antarctica. So there's a lot of different conditions when you travel, and then you go to the ocean, salt water, and all this kind of stuff. How surprising was that for you? How many boundaries people had to overcome to actually grow a beard?
Yeah, I mean, the YouTube channel really just started off with me sharing everything that I've learned over time, and I continue to learn stuff. And as I learn it, I continue to share it. So it's kind of an assumption that you think you have a beard and you know what to do with it, but the reality is, for many men, they've never grown a beard before, and they want to make sure that it's well presented, and it's healthy, and it's presentable, and they can rock it in areas that maybe people traditionally don't expect a man to have a beard in. So we never did like any kind of like market research, like, oh yeah, this is what someone should be interested in, and we'll do it. It was more of just like, this is me and what I'm learning and what I'm sharing, and also like other people who I trust and who I look up to, and have them share what they've learned and what they're about.
So how did you learn about beards? Because I always have this picture in my mind, like your dad teaches you shaving and all this kind of stuff. Did you go through the same thing, or did you have to teach all by yourself, or was there somebody else that inspired you to grow your beard? How did all that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was a combination of a lot of different things. Of course, I started off online with my advice at a message board that focused on beards. It's called Beardboard, or just Beardboard. And it's a great community of guys that are really encouraging, and they kind of help guide you on how to groom and take care and grow your beard out. And then I was the founder of a local beard club. So I, hung around with other bearded guys and picked up tips from them. And then, of course, once I started creating videos, I ran across other people who in the comments would share how they would do things and share their tips. And I learned a lot just by creating. So as long as you have like open eyes and open ears, then, you're going to be able to pick up tips and learn. And then I just, share things.
Yeah.
So
did your little local beard club inspire you to actually go compete, or is that something that you came up with by yourself? Because to make a living out of beard products and growing a proper beard is one thing, but then actually go into competitions. And yes, my dear audience, believe it or not, there is a world championship in beard grooming and all those kind of stuff around. How did you make that decision to go to actually a competition? And do you have to train in front of a beard competition? And how long does it take you?
Yeah, I mean, the world of competitive bearding is quite an interesting community. It's kind of like the best way I describe it is like a beauty pageant for dudes, and dudes tend to involve like a little bit of alcohol and a little bit more laid back affair. So it's a lot of fun, it's just kind of a little bit of primping and preparing for the beard. And so much of growing a beard is based on your genetics. So you can either grow a great beard or you can't, but there is a little bit of grooming involved in that as well. But it's more of like a fraternity, a way to hang out with other people who are passionate about similar things. So I personally don't take the competition aspect so seriously. I know there are some people who are very passionate about it, but I think there's a combination of taking it seriously enough to where you have a great presentable beard, but also being able to have fun and build friendships and relationships.
Hmm. Now, if I would go to a beard competition, I would of course think, okay, I have to take care of my beard, I have to comb it, I have to wash it, and I would take my conditioner and my shampoo that I use for my hair. But no, here's something else I learned on your channel. You cannot take the products for your beard that you can take for your hair. Why is that? Why? Because hair is hair, in my opinion, which obviously got proven wrong. Why do you have to separate those two things?
Yeah, I mean, a few different reasons are your beard hair is typically going to be thicker and coarser and curlier than your head hair. So when you're dealing with a different hair, you need to treat it differently. In addition to that, your scalp, the hair on your head is the thickest skin of anywhere on your body. And then you get onto your face, and your face has some of the thinnest skin on your body. So you need a product that's not going to be as harsh as your shampoos and conditioners, because those are formulated for your head hair, which has 100,000 follicles and generates far more oils than your face, which your beard is typically going to have about 30,000 follicles. So it's a few different factors as to why you'd want a product specifically formulated for your beard and subsequently your face, rather than a product designed for your head hair and subsequently your scalp.
Now, with a beard, I can imagine, or not really I can imagine, but I would like to compare it to when a woman goes into an underwear shop. Hashtag not a native English speaker, I don't know the specific word for that, but it is obviously very different from person to person. As you said yourself, you want to make the people feel comfortable, and everybody has a different beard growth. How do you apply to help somebody? What is the first thing you ask people when it comes to their questions? How can I make my beard bigger and better?
Yeah, I mean, so much of what we're about is embracing who you are. So it's understanding what you're working with at the root, and not trying to really, there's a lot of people out there who will prey on your insecurities of wanting a thicker beard or a different beard. Instead, we encourage men to embrace their beard and embrace what it is, and then work with that. So if you have like a great mustache, or if you have great sideburns or a great goatee area, then you'll focus on growing those areas. And then those areas which maybe are a little more patchy or a little thinner, you can go a little bit shorter with that and get away with a little bit of like a scruff or facial hair. And then if you've got like just great genetics and you grow a really great beard, then, you know, what are the tools to help you shape it and have it presentable and have the neckline to your style and preference, and just keep it in shape. So it's really a one-by-one basis, and some people need to get the help with the mental aspect of growing a beard, you know, that self-confidence. And then some people need a little more focus on the physical aspect of it, you know, where to do the neckline and where to do the cheek line, and how to make sure it's clean and soft and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is something that I really struggled with, where to cut my neckline. It was really difficult for me to figure that out, especially when you do it yourself. Do you go to a barber, to a specialist, or do you do it yourself? Because you have a lot of tutorials on your YouTube and on your social media in general where you show how to do it yourself. But can a self-shaved beard really live up to the competition against a beard that is shaped and groomed by a proper professional barber?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you do it enough times, you're going to get pretty good at it. It's like anything in life. The first time you do it, there's probably a good chance that you're going to screw it up. And the same goes with barbers. Like if there's barbers who haven't trimmed or shaped a lot of beards before, then there's a good chance that they're not going to nail it. But a barber who does a lot of them and has seen a lot of different beards, they're going to be pretty good at it. So there's no right or wrong. I think it kind of comes down to a person's own preferences. And, you know, there are nice things about going to the barber, and they can see areas of the beard that you can't easily see without a couple of mirrors. So I do both. You know, it kind of depends on what's going on, my schedule, and if I can get into a barber, and if I have a barber that I trust, or if I just want something quick and easy in my own bathroom that I can knock out real quick. So there's no right or wrong, and they both have good results and bad results.
So you never kind of panic if you don't have a barber around. I don't know, how is that in the US of A? Do you have a barber at every corner, or is it hard to find in certain cities? Because again, here in Asia, it is finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, I think it's barbering and styling it's an art form. It's a service. So you're definitely going to have varying levels of skill sets and qualities, and it is hard to find that one person who really works well with your hair type, your beard type. So I think there's always going to be a lot of options out there, but it's finding the one that fits your price point and your style that can be challenging.
You mentioned art form there. That is something that I would like to go into, because art is very individual, but how many different styles can you actually come up with when it comes to beard that make you individual? I can't imagine that there are so many different ones.
Oh man, there's probably, off the top of my head, like 20 or 30 different ways to style your beard. In varying aspects, because you think about, you have your sideburns, you have your goatee, you have your mustache, you have several different types of mustaches, you've got varying lengths of your sideburns, and then the same with the beard. Is it a short beard? Is it a scruff beard? Is it a wild beard? Is it a long beard? How long is that beard? How is the mustache blended into the beard? All these little details that go into the beard to really accent and make it different. I would almost say that you could probably get more options from your beard with different beard styles than you could get with your head and head hairstyles. Because with guys and head hair, it seems like you either got short on the sides and longer on the top, and then like long hair. And that's about it.
That's very interesting. Do you ever have the feeling when you walk the street, because you seem very, very passionate about what you do you just have the feeling when you see certain people and think to yourself, hey, wait a second, you shouldn't wear this beard, oh wait, let me help you out? How is that desire for you to help somebody out with their beard when you see them just on the street?
Nah, I'm a big fan of whatever someone wants to do, let them do it. Like it's no sweat off my back if someone is, growing a beard that I personally want to do. So, it's all about preferences in life. And if someone wants to have a different look, then cool, that doesn't really bother me at all.
Well, that's very interesting. That leads me to another question I have for you from another video I saw on your YouTube channel. You were doing a video against haters, because with beards, it seems like everybody wants to be on a team. Either you have the people who love beards and they try to grow their beard, or you have the people who don't like any beards at all. They have a baby ass, as we say in Germany, in the middle of their face. How is that for you? Do you receive a lot of hate? How do you handle hate, and how do you encourage people to actually try something new?
Yeah, I think it is kind of silly. There are haters in everything in life. There's always going to be that us versus them, as you pointed it out. And I think a lot of my hate has really dissipated over the years as I've surrounded myself with people who are positive and encouraging, and or will either keep to themselves when the time is right. And then on YouTube, of course, we'll get haters, but that's just kind of to be expected.
Yeah, the keyboard warriors.
Yeah, keyboard warriors. So I think that video was more of like I think everyone is going to run into it, and it's how you deal with it that is important to take that into consideration and understand that you're on your own journey of becoming the person you want to be, and the reality is you're the only person who spends 100% of your time with yourself. So you've really got to love the person that you are and not do it for other people, or not do it for the haters or the critical people, and instead just do it for yourself. So that's kind of one thing that I try to remind myself.
Do you mind if I ask you, how do you keep yourself happy? Because that is a question I ask to almost everybody I have on the podcast, from MMA athletes to authors, to journalists, to people who love beards, as in your case. Do you have a special trick for yourself? For me, for example, when I wake up in the morning, I always smile to myself in the mirror because I think it's funny and it just makes me laugh. And starting your day with a laugh is probably better than anything else, unless you have morning sex. That's the only thing that is better than smiling at yourself in the mirror. But do you have something that you do, a little routine to keep yourself happy, or is it just a mindset that you teached and enforced on yourself?
No, I mean, I think for me, maybe happiness isn't the right word, but try to be content with my situation is what I strive for, and kind of be at peace with what's going on in my world. But yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning of this call, it's like every day that I wake up, I'm happy, and I've done a lot of things in my life to allow me to do the things that I love and I'm passionate about. So I'm very grateful and fortunate for the things that have come my way, and I'm also very challenged to overcome a lot of obstacles that are facing me, and that helps keep me motivated and driven. And then I just tell my dad jokes, and that seems to make me
dad jokes. Well. That's funny.
Yeah.
Normally, all the mom jokes and all this kind of stuff. I never really heard about dad jokes, but I'm German. My humor, I shouldn't say anything. We Germans are not very known for the best humor. I'm always like 5 years behind. Like Chuck Norris jokes, when they came out, I missed them completely. And then 5 years after that, when everybody was tired of them, I started to tell them each and every day to all my friends.
Do you guys have mom jokes? Is that really a German thing?
No, that's not really a German thing, but I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy. So, the best stand-up comedy, in my opinion, you have in the States. So there's a lot of mom jokes around there, and you hear one or two on the World Wide Web, and I think it's funny. I think in general, it's so much more fun to actually laugh, and especially laugh at yourself. I don't know how many times I've been laughing at myself because I have been doing stupid things, and I always repeat myself on the podcast. The world is full of stupid people, and I include myself. It always depends on the situation, but I think one of the biggest strengths in life and as a person you can have is actually to be aware of yourself and to laugh about yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Like having a good sense of humor will help lower stress and keep you happier for a longer period of time.
So how many beard jokes do you have to deal with on a regular basis?
I don't know. Like I don't really hear them, but I'm usually the one who's delivering them. So.
Okay, I have something here on my note. I was gonna try save this to the end, but now we are here with jokes and the funny part of the beard life. And I want to ask you shortly in between before I come back to running your own business. But what is the most weird thing related to a beard that somebody has confronted you with?
What is the most weird thing, huh?
Yeah, like a pair of jeans made out of beard hair or something like that.
I haven't pair of jeans made out of beard hair. I think you just took the cake with that. I can't imagine that's ever existed, though.
I don't know if that exists, actually.
Yeah, I have seen at a beard competition, there's a female category, and they make play beards. They make fake beards.
Oh, okay.
But one contestant actually gathered and collected her partner's beard hair and made a beard out of that, which I thought was kind of
that is
interesting.
Interesting is a very polite word for that. For me, I would use the word weird. But when you said female competition in beards, I immediately have to think of way back in time when I was maybe 10 or 11, and I started to make my own journeys to the supermarket to buy some candy. We always had the supermarket lady, and she had a small, thin mustache. So maybe that's something for her to enter, a natural female beard. Do you ever come across something like that?
Yeah, we have. we have seen a few competitors who, there's something called polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, which one of the kind of side effects of having that is a higher propensity to facial hair. And I think there's been a lot of women who, rather than fighting that, have kind of embraced who they were and just let the facial hair come in. So that's something that we encourage. And there's actually other medical reasons that some women may grow facial hair as well. So, if they can feel like confident that that is who they are, and they want to wear that, then, we would, at Beardbrand, we would support that as well and encourage people to be themselves.
Now, that is something that deserves a lot of respect. I was making a joke here, but I didn't think that there is actually women who grow and compete in stuff like that. So nothing then my hat off to people who can embrace to 100% who they really are. But I have to go back to the weirdest thing related to a beard, because I have a friend here in Bangkok. His name is Bandholz. I had them on the podcast several times, and he is a maniac. He's basically what you are for beards, he is for craft beer. He loves craft beer. He owns a company here in Bangkok called Beardsmen. They import craft beer. And every time we do a podcast, he introduces me to weird beer. So similar, those two words. Again, hashtag not a native English speaker. But I'm talking about Rogue Beard Beer. It's made out of the yeast of a beard. Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with those guys out of Portland, right? Or, Rogue. We used to do, we had like a little collaboration with them when I living up in Spokane, Washington. So, brewer's yeast. So it's kind of a funny story to tell. I think it's pretty interesting.
Sorry. Would you ever consider to take that up in your product list? I mean, you have beard oil, beard balm, mustache wax, and beard wash, and all this kind of stuff. Would you ever consider, just because it fits so well with beards, would you ever consider to actually open a bar that only owns or serves craft beer made of out of beards?
I've never thought of that before, but it seems like a pretty interesting marketing niche, so maybe I should add it to my idea list.
We are breaking boundaries here on the podcast. How easy was it for you? Because I saw a little switch here now. I saw it again on YouTube. There are several stages when you start to decide to grow a beard. How easy was it for you to actually come out and do videos, even in the awkward stages of your beard, where your beard maybe doesn't really look that fabulous? I mean, it takes a little bit of self-confidence to go out there to the world, and you have a lot of viewers on YouTube. I think you have over 350,000 followers or 450,000 followers, I don't know, which is way bigger than what we have here. So I can only imagine what it takes to actually go out there and shave yourself in front of people. How did you enter the social media world, and did it add to your confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I have just like a certain level of either naivety or just like ignorance, where I really just don't care anymore. Like, I don't care what people think about my beard if it's not perfectly what's it called? Just put together or groomed. I've always been more of like a laid back kind of guy, so laid back grooming, and if my hair is not perfect or my beard's not perfect or my mustache isn't perfect, it doesn't really bother me, So if people get in a hizzy over it, then, tough luck for them.
Have you always been a beard grower, or have you been, did you come late to the game? I mean, I saw your question and answers, and somebody asked you how you actually looked without a beard, and you compared yourself to young Keithan Sutherland. But I actually have to say, you remind me of Derek Cecil, he plays Seth, or difficult name, Seth Grayson in House of Cards. You remind me a lot of him. So how long have you been growing a beard?
Yeah, I mean, as long as I could grow facial hair, I've always wanted to have it. So I was physically a late bloomer when it came to being able to grow a beard, and I probably didn't grow a beard longer than a month until about 2008. So I'd say I've been like a more serious beard grower consistently since 2011 when I quit my job as a financial advisor. But before that, I would always have some kind of facial hair. But typically it'd be about, 2 or 3 weeks or shorter. So it was a little more on the scruff side of things.
Yeah, talking about the physical side of you as a human being, you are actually the tallest podcast guest we had so far. I believe you are a very, very tall guy. You're 6'7", 6'8". Is that true?
Well, I'm pretty tall, but I'm not that tall. I'm about 6'5".
Oh, okay. That's still taller than me. I'm 6'3".
Okay, yeah, you'd look up to me, that's for sure.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often here in Asia, I can tell you that. So that's another thing that I always enjoy and laugh at myself when I come across somebody here in Asia who's taller than me. I always think like, whoa, wait a second, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Totally a weird feeling. I'll go days, or I should say, I'll go months without seeing someone taller than me.
Yeah. It is what it is. We see the world from above, and the air is a little bit cleaner upstairs. On your social media, on your website, you refer to shipping to the US and shipping to Europe. Have you ever been to Asia, or is this your Asia debut, if you want to say so?
No, man. I went to a conference in Bangkok probably about 2 years ago. I've been to Tokyo a couple times. I've been to India as well. And then I've been to Australia, which I don't know if they're technically Asia. I guess not. I've been to that area a few times. And I'm a big fan of Japan. I love going to visit there. And I was actually thinking about trying to make a last-minute trip there here at the end of October or November.
Tokyo or any other place in Japan?
Well, I've only been to Tokyo, so maybe it would be nice if I went to some of the other towns. But, I mean, there's just so much to see in Tokyo as well.
That's true. Very clean, though.
Yeah, it's amazing how
Tokyo's very clean.
Clean and kind of orderly they are, despite the...
But is Japan really an interesting country when it comes to beard, or what is your favorite in terms of other countries? I can imagine that India is very interesting as a beard lover. There's a lot of beard going on over there. What is your favorite?
From places I've been, or I would love to go to Dubai. I've never been to the Middle East, and I would love to check that out. And of course, I think facial hair is really integrated into society there, so it'd be interesting to see what that looks like. But from an Asia perspective, I think you're right, like up in Pakistan and kind of more on the northern side of India, you're going to see a lot more facial hair with the Sikh culture as well, and kind of, now the name's slipping my tongue. But
there's a lot of countries.
Yeah, it's up in the Pakistan-India border. There's a town up there.
Bangladesh. No, that is between Myanmar and... sorry. No, I'm getting...
Now you're making me go pull it up.
I'm sorry. There's so many countries, and as my audience know, names are not my biggest strength. I can tell you that. The only reason why I have my passport is so I can remember my own name. But I want to go back here a little bit to the business side of your business, because as I just mentioned, you ship to Europe and to the US. How big do you see yourself? I mean, where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? How big can you, how far can you take this whole urban beard style thing?
Yeah, so before I get into that, Punjab is the region that I was thinking of, or the city I was thinking of in India and Pakistan. But I see huge potential with Beardbrand and where we're going. As you know, and as I've alluded to earlier, like Beardbrand is much more than just beard care. So we're able to offer world-class beard care products, but we recognize that a man needs more than just beard care. So we've got our hair care products, we've got body care products, skin care, face care stuff, all that in the works to be able to offer like a full suite of products that are of the same level and quality that we have for beard care. And with that in mind, like the world is wide open for a premium men's grooming company. There's only a couple players currently in the space, and they're really not doing anything that I view as incredible or special. You know, they make good products, and that's kind of the extent of it. But they're not empowering their customers like Beardbrand is. They're not providing support. They're not helping them to keep on growing like we do with customers. So I would love to see Beardbrand become a mass global player. But at the same time, we are an independent company, so we're self-funded. We don't have any investors. We don't have any bank loans. We're debt-free. So for us to grow, it means we have to be a profitable company and reinvest those profits back into the company. So we may see a growth path that's a little bit slower curve than a company that's backed by millions of dollars of investment. But we're in it for the long haul. So if it takes us an extra decade, so be it.
Well, step by step. It's better to make small steps forward, and sometimes it even takes a small step backward to make two forward, especially when you run your own business. But I have to ask you, for me as a photographer, I often switch subjects. I come from the hip-hop scene. I started photography within breakdance, and then I went on to travel photography and reportage photography. Then I got in touch with MMA photography, fighting, and all kinds of stuff. Do you have the urge to try something new in the long run, or do you see yourself always dealing with beards because that is just who you are? It's part of you.
I mean, so I'm an entrepreneur. I can't stop coming up with business ideas. It just happens constantly. But I do try to funnel that into a focus for Beardbrand and what Beardbrand is doing, and keeping the efforts of Beardbrand consistent and on brand and moving forward. So when it comes to Beardbrand, it will be just continued penetration and deepening of the relationship with our current customers and future customers, and how we can do that effectively. That makes sense. I don't have I'm not talented enough to be like Elon Musk and have multiple businesses going on. I don't have the energy, I would say, or I'm not willing to make the sacrifices required of maybe spending less time with my family or spending less time traveling. So for me, business is a little bit of a balance, and being able to do what I want to do on the short amount of time that I have on this earth.
Yeah, I agree. You should always focus on one thing to do it 100% and then take it to a certain level, and then you can start focusing on other things. Often when you try to focus on several things, it can get lost somewhere in between, and then one side suffers, and you want to always give the best version of what you're doing, and I think that can only be accomplished if you really give 100%. But the reason why I ask you, do you always want to do beards? Because you're a little Bitcoin lover here.
I'm a little bit of a what?
A Bitcoin supporter. You are into Bitcoins, huh?
Yeah. I like the Bitcoins. You're into that? And usually most people aren't really into that, so I don't talk about it much.
No, I have a few friends who got into that, especially with the jump that the whole Bitcoin scene did a couple of weeks ago. I'm not really into it, but I got more and more interested in it because I do most of my payments, and I receive most of my payments via PayPal because I'm traveling a lot. I work in different countries, so it's easier with PayPal. Everything happens online. Do you see a future in Bitcoin, or do you see a future in paying online or handling your business online in general? Because you are obviously online, and society is changing as well. Or can you imagine yourself going back to a little corner shop business at one point in time?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bitcoin and digital currencies are the way of future. My passion for Bitcoin isn't on like the investing side of thing or watching it go up in value. My passion with Bitcoin is, the decentralized currency aspect of it, and the mitigation of risk from a government intervention into a currency. So that's what I really love about it, and I think is really cool about it. But also the technical abilities of the currency to be able to send, cash anywhere instantly with minimal fees is pretty an awesome thing. Yeah. When you look at fundamentally the premise of capitalism and being able to transact at a global level. So, yeah, I think it's awesome. And then, for people to be able to do it from everywhere, from the corner shop to big corporations is also pretty cool.
You mentioned government there, and don't you worry, I'm not going to go into Donald Trump, but why do you think hasn't it been so many presidents with a beard? The only one I can recall is actually Lincoln is the last one who had a beard, or is there anybody else?
Yeah, I think, before Abraham Lincoln, there's a number of guys who rocked facial hair, and then kind of after him, it's been a little more taboo to have facial hair. But I think it's, when you look at politicians, you look at people who don't really have their own self-identity. They're like snakes, and they're willing to change into whatever person they need to be to get votes or to raise money or whatever. So they're not the most honorable of people. And if the trends ever change to tell them to grow facial hair, they'll start growing facial hair. But I don't think there's much honor in politicians.
Well, just wait 5 or 10 more years when you made Beardbrand global and everybody is wanting to carry a beard. Then all of a sudden we will have politicians with a just complete full beard because everybody loves beard. I'm letting you go here in a few minutes because I know it's Monday for you over there. You're just starting the week. I guess you have stuff to do except for this podcast. I know this is your highlight of the day, and that was German sarcasm. But I have to ask you now I lost my question. I was gonna ask you about the teams of beards and women of beards, and how difficult is it for you to talk to people in general who don't have your opinion at all, because that's something I struggle with. And as somebody who's an entrepreneur, I can imagine you have to deal with people who don't always like your idea. How do you deal with that? How do you stay calm?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is understanding that you can't control other people. And once you understand that and you come to terms with it, then you simply move on to the next person who may be more open-minded to what you're talking about. There's no point trying to convince people who don't see eye to eye. But you can still be respectful and try to have a conversation and present opportunities where not only you can learn from them, but also they might be open to learning from you. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of trying to change people's minds. I'm a big fan of sharing what I'm passionate about and sharing what I've learned. And then for the people who are looking for that or are open to that, then they can come and find it. And then the people who want to pick fights, then I remove them from my lives.
Yeah, you seem like a very calm person to me, and now I remember what I wanted to ask you. It just didn't have any transition here, but I was Googling and researching about salt water for your beard, because I'm a big fan of floating isolation tanks. First of all, is that something that you ever tried? Because you seem like a very calm person to me, yoga or anything in that direction. And second of all, salt water and beards, does that go together, or it sounds like you should avoid that?
Yeah, it's funny. We sell a product called a sea salt spray, which is, we formulated and designed it specifically as a hair care product. But some of our customers have been using it on their beards, and what we found is it will give that texture and that grit to their beard for people who maybe have a little bit thinner or finer beard. So I think, it could enhance or give you a kind of style that people may want. Personally, I prefer a smoother, softer type of beard, and the salt water tends to make the beard a little more, as I would say, like crunchy. But in terms of floating, I've never floated before, but I've wanted to try it. I know they've got some good,
you have to try it.
Spas here in town, so I need to plan a day for that, and then. That is I try to stay calm. I think like there's a lot of lessons in like Buddhism that I try to take or implement in my life, and then like Stoicism as well. just being able to have like a bigger perspective on the world than what's going on in my life, and realize that so much of what I'm doing is pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Well, I think working on people's confidence is more significant than you think, because I was thinking about shaving off my beard, and should I do it? I don't really want to do it, and in one way or the other, you have to realize that you basically, and this is the reason why we are sitting here right now and doing this podcast, you inspire people to do something with themselves, let it be in the form of beard or confidence or whatever it is, all over the world. You sit in Austin, Texas, the United States, and I sit in Bangkok. We have never met each other. You do more influence than you think you do, I imagine. I don't know if I put that right, but you get the idea.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that, and it means a lot to hear that, and I'm glad to have that. But I think it's still, I love doing what I do, and I love inspiring people, and I love helping them, and helping everyone on their own individual path, whatever that may be. But at the same time, I'm just going to be on this earth for hopefully like 100 years, and then there's been millions of years or billions of years that have existed. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm just a fleck. But I want to make it the most incredible fleck that's ever been, right?
A very, very humble guy. Shortly before I let you go now, really seriously, but 3 more questions. Question number 1, don't want to sound rude or want to make it sound weird, but death is part of life. Do you see yourself dying with a beard, or do you say, I'm going to shave clean when I can see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, I mean, I've always viewed myself as a beardsman, so I would imagine that at least at this point in my life, that facial hair is going to continue to be part of my life indefinitely. And I may have styles that come and go, and hopefully when I die, I still have my facial hair.
That is passion through and through. Question number 2, your favorite musician with a beard?
I don't know off the top of my head. The bands I like that I can always listen to, like The National, and I think his name, I don't know his name, it's Matt something or other. I think he keeps a pretty well trimmed beard, so that's going to go as my top of head answer.
Yeah, you also listen to Radiohead, right?
Yeah, Tom York doesn't have a beard though, does he?
I'm not really sure actually, but the reason why I asked this is because one of my favorites covers ever done of Radiohead's song from 1993, Creep, is done by Homeless Mustard, and he has a massive beard. He's not alive anymore if I'm not mistaken, but a homeless guy who did an amazing cover of Creep, and the best version did it even better than Radiohead itself. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. If not, I'm going to send you the link. You have to listen to that, and not only listen to the track, but also see a lovely beard. Question number 2, your favorite actor with a beard?
I don't, man, put me on the spot with all these.
That's the point.
I'd like to see, what's his name? He's in Guardians of the Galaxy. Everyone, he was in Andy in Parks and Recreation.
You asked me for names. Big mistake.
yeah, I'm the same as you, Steve. I'm terrible with names, but he, shoot, man. He doesn't really always wear a beard, but when he does, I think he looks pretty good with it.
Yeah, I think Jim Carrey really rocked a nice full beard.
Yeah, he's wearing one nowadays.
Yeah, that was a really good one. But he, I don't know if he still has it, because as an actor, you obviously have to change your facial hair once in a while. I was actually seeing that yesterday, that I was watching movies. I'm kind of into movies, not the new ones, but more the old ones. And there was one actor, they had to research the scene, and he already went on to the next movie where he had to grow a beard, which was in his contract. So they had to do green screen magic and CGI, what's it called?
Yeah, CGI.
CGI, thank you, magic to actually make this scene happening. So that was very interesting to see. With that being said, Eric, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I can imagine you're a busy man, as I see on all your social media. You really interact with your audience. You try to answer all the questions. And when you said yes to this podcast, it made me really, really happy that I had the opportunity to talk to somebody who comes from a complete different world until a few weeks ago. Now I'm sitting here with my comb and combing my beard while we speak. It's something that I start to get into more and more. I'm also going to do a little bit of shopping on your shop, www.beardbrand.com. And where else can we find you and your beard products on social media and the World Wide Web?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you just Google Eric Bandholz, and I'm the only one around. So I'm on Twitter. Probably Twitter is my favorite one to interact with people.
My biggest enemy.
And then, and then Instagram it's good to kind of get inspiration from what I'm doing, but I'm not as good about interacting on that platform. And then Beardbrand's everywhere. YouTube's our #1 channel, so check us out. Just Beardbrand. For all of our social media platforms.
Yeah, we're going to put all that below in the description. So if you are listening later on iTunes or Podbean, where you can download all our episodes for free, please make sure to check YouTube out. And as always, I have one last question and one more. But this is seriously the last one. In one of your videos, I saw that you prefer to show your left side when it comes to your beard. But the picture I used for a thumbnail with you and a blue suit and a brown blue suit, and you have your beard, you have your right side on. Is that picture mirrored, or is it actually one of those few moments where you show the right side of your beard?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so particular with it that it has to be one side or the other. So but yeah, my left side is my better side when it comes to my beard.
We are called Surrounded by Details for a reason. Eric, thank you so much for being with us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday. And keep the awesome work up and inspire beard people and grooming stylists all around the world. I'm gonna be a beardholic, that is for sure. Eric Bandholz, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Take you care. Boom! And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. What an interesting character, and so calm, so easy to talk to, and very interesting to hear what he has accomplished with his brand. It's for me, it's always fascinating to find people who come from a complete different direction, because sometimes you are so stuck in your world, you're so stuck in your frame that you totally forget how different people can be. And especially when you travel, you realize different people, different cultures, different habits, different passions. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, before I finish the podcast here, please don't forget to subscribe to all Eric's social media channels that we're gonna list below in the description. And don't forget to support us, your favorite podcast in Asia, maybe even the whole wide world, maybe even the universe. Make sure to subscribe on Podbean, SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube, iTunes. You can download our podcast episodes audio only for free on all these platforms except for YouTube, unless you have a little extra software tool, which would be legal, maybe, I don't know. Whatever, what I'm trying to say here is download our episodes, listen to all the other episodes we have and the episodes that are about to come up. If you look for me personally on social media, you can go on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter, where you can check out Steve Bonhage, STEVBONHAGE. It's the same on all of these platforms. If you're not a social media guy or a YouTube guy or iTunes guy, just go on my website, www.stevebonhage.com. Again, STEVBONHAGE.com, where you can find the finest fight photography in Southeast Asia, maybe the world, maybe even the universe. And we don't even know if there is more than the universe. So maybe even more than the universe, ladies and gentlemen. And I finished this podcast as Eric put it best when we started this podcast. Have a happy Monday. even if there's not much left here if you live in Southeast Asia, because it is a little bit past 11 p.m. It is almost time to sleep. I'm gonna finish now. Thank you so much for listening to the Surrounded by Details podcast. My name is Stevo, and please tune in again on Thursday, 8 p.m. Bangkok time, when we are talking to another interesting person. I'm not gonna say much because I like to build it up. So maybe, but just maybe, follow me on social media to find out more. Looking forward to hear everything from you. Leave us a comment, leave us a like or dislike, because without that we don't know what we're doing. Help us to improve. Have an awesome Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. See ya.
But I'm glad that I know to run far away.